of that village was cancelled. Kittle, ahara means food or livelihood. Kittle has wrote a Kannada dictionary. It's very famous Kannada dictionary of Kittle. In that, ahara means food or livelihood. So we can consider this word ahara as the grants or gifts given by kings to Brahmins for their living or make their own food. Dr. Morris, Agraharas constituted the real universities of medieval India. Dr. Morris says this because Agraharas were also educational institutions. Brahmin Pandits used to give education to young Brahmin children in these Agraharas. So, Dr. Morris says this statement. Dr. R.K. Mukherjee, Agraharas were the villages constructed for the use of religious students, Brahmins. Dr. Altekar, Agraharas were settlement of Brahmana colonies in villages. Dr. Meenakshi, when a whole village was settled by a number of learned Brahmanas, it was commonly known as an Agrahara.
Maybe we are watching you. Please continue. Huh?
Yeah,
If we
yeah.
have
Give
any
me a
update
second.
for you, we'll let you know. Huh? At the end of the day, we'll give you some updates. Not now.
Yeah. My slide has just stuck, so give me a second, please.
Click on the surface of the slide.
Yeah,
Or
it's
then,
come.
I think it has come.
Yeah. Dr. Chidanand Murthy, Agra is equal to Shrestha Brahmana. Shrestha means in Kannada great Brahmanas, and Hara is equal to Dana. Dana means gift in Kannada. The town gifted by kings to Brahmanas was called as Agrahara. Yam Kalaburgi, Agra is equal to Shrestha and Ahara is equal to Thala. Dr. D.D. Sarkar, the kings used to gift these towns for Brahmins who used to complete their education. According to me, in ancient times, kings used to believe a lot in Brahmanas. Taking care of Brahmana citizens of state was considered as a holy work, and there was a blind belief or a myth that giving a dana to Brahmins will send the soul to heaven. So many kings gave agraharas as dana to Brahmins in Karnataka. This particular statement is according to me.
All right. Please carry on.
Yeah. Why to call agraharas as civilizations? This is the main question that our young researchers are facing. Civilization royal dynasty. Agraharas were like mini government which used to manage everything by themselves. There was no interference of state or king or army. So, when a particular community or culture have their own rules, regulations, and government, it can be called as civilization. These agraharas had all the qualities of a civilization. Economically, culturally, religiously, agraharas were independent, so we can call them as civilizations. The particular group had particular work and systematic lifestyle used to be in the agraharas different than the outer world or royal state which we can call. So I see these towns as a separate civilizations which are underrated by historians. Many historians have not done research on agraharas history, which is very sad thing. Origin of agraharas. Vedic period also, they were Gurukulas of Brahmins in which Brahmin Pandits used to teach kids. But that cannot be called as Agrahara. In Karnataka, from Kadamba period, we get to see the formation of Agraharas, that is between 3rd to 4th century. But the education institutions called Gurukulas were the early form of educational towns called Agraharas. Badami Chalukyas, Kalyani Chalukyas, and Vijayanagara, Hoysala period, we get to many Agraharas all over the Karnataka. The sad thing is that many of the villages which were Agraharas of Karnataka have not gone through research. But Dr. Leela Shanta Kumari of Karnataka University work on history of Agraharas of Karnataka. So that is very great thing. She has contributed to the research of Agraharas. Reasons why history of Agraharas have been neglected. Agrahara is connected with Brahmins. So many of the historians have not worked on it because the term Brahmin is connected with Agrahara. When we see the history of Brahmins, it is true that there was discrimination in the society and Brahmins did torture the lower caste people, but not all the Brahmins. We read medieval history and historians do write great books on medieval history, but in this period also there was too much instability in the society. But still we read it because it is part of our history. Our historians only give preference to subaltern history and neglect the Brahminical Agrahara history. In 100, only 10 to 15% of people know about history of Agraharas. This is according to my personal survey. Our history textbook syllabus do not mention about it in detail. According to me, history should not be judged, but historians are studying history on discriminative basis and are writing history title which can be sold more. I chose this topic to talk. When I was studying in MA History and Archaeology, I found that the history of Brahmins, this topic has been neglected, and I started reading books on this topic. And I started to search sources. I got to know that very less research has been done on history of Brahmins or on history of Agrahara. In MA final year dissertation, I chose a village named Ramtirtha, which comes in Karnataka, Belgavi district, Athani Taluk, for research because it was an Agrahara. And I found that this village history was neglected, and I realized that all over the Karnataka, many such villages which once used to be Agraharas have been ignored by youth researchers. I am blessed, glad, and thankful to my guide, Dr. K.L.N. Murthy sir, who motivated me to do research on such a topic of Ramtirtha on which nobody knows. Lalit, there is a disturbance. There is a noise disturbance. According to me, the history of Agrahara is part of local history, and the main sources to know the history of Agrahara is oral history. Oral history is the history which comes through by mouth to mouth from the past. How to identify a village as a Agrahara in Karnataka? This is the main question young researchers have while doing research on Agraharas in Karnataka. There are some main characters to identify a village as Agrahara. Those are, the village will have many number of houses on the name. This is first character. The village will have huge amount of land on the name of Brahmins, which will be gifted by local Anika Samsthana king. Anika Samsthana king means local desais or local government which used to govern the So will be having a kere or halla. Kere or halla means mini river. You can say it in Kannada. Kere or halla means mini river. On the name of Papanashini. So where there is a kere named Papanashini, that village will be in past Agrahara. That village surely will be Agrahara in the past. The village will be having a particular old temple which would be surrounded by many Brahmins. Name of the village depicts its form. Example, if we hear the name of Agra, we get to know that the name was given by Muslim dynasties. So if we get to know the name of Ramatirtha, it depicts that it is a Hindu culture based village, because Rama is a god of Hindu culture. So like that, name of the village also depicts its form or its origin. Who does the Mahapuja or Mahanevidya during any? Because in all the past Agraharas till today, particular Brahmin family only does the Mahapuja or Mahanevidya. Example, there is a village called Yalaguru, which was a Vaishnava Agrahara. Till today, the Brahmin family only does Mahanevidya in the first day of Mahajatra, which is called as Kartik. This system is in every Agrahara of Karnataka. Brahmin people only do the Mahapuja or Mahanevidya. So this is most important characteristics to identify a village as the background of the village. Example, if that village has any Pauranika background in Ramayana, Mahabharata or Vedas or Upanishads, that can be also considered as an Agrahara. Types of Agraharas of Karnataka. When we see the history of Agraharas of Karnataka, we get to see two types of Agraharas. Vaishnava Agrahara. These Agraharas had only Vaishnava Brahmins in them. Vaishnava Agrahara had a Vaishnava culture god. In Vaishnava Agrahara, we get to know two subtypes of Agraharas. Those are Sri Vaishnava Agrahara, Madhva Agrahara. Example, Beluru was also a Agrahara, that was Sri Vaishnava Agrahara. Till today, there are Sri Vaishnava Pandits in Chennakeshava temple, Beluru. Madhva Agrahara's Halasi was a main city of Kadamba dynasty. It was a Madhva Agrahara. Shaiva Agraharas. These Agraharas had only Shaiva Brahmins in them. Shaiva Agraharas had Lord Shiva's temple in them. Kadambas built Vaishnava Agraharas. Hoysalas built Sri Vaishnava Agraharas. Badami Chalukyas built Vaishnava and Shaiva both Agraharas. Kalyani Chalukyas built Shaiva Agraharas in Karnataka. Some of the Agraharas on which I have done research and I have read about them. Bijapur district, Karnataka. It was a Madhva Vaishnava Agrahara. It has a Hanuman temple. Till today, it is filled with many Brahmin houses. Kadambas made it as an Agrahara. Muttagi. It was a Madhva Vaishnava Agrahara. I have presented a paper on its history. Kokatnur, Belgavi district, Athani Taluk. Saddam Mujawar has done a research on it. It was made Agrahara by Kalyani Chalukyas. In Kokatnur, there is a Shaiva Trikuta temple. Halasi, Belgavi district, Dr. Surya Banakar, Karnataka University, Dharwad. She has done research on it. It was a Madhva Vaishnava Agrahara built by Kadambas. In Halsi, there is a Vaishnava Trikuta temple built by Kadambas. Ramatirtha, Belgavi district, Athani Taluk. I have done research on it. So in next slides, I am going to talk in detail about Ramatirtha Agrahara. entrance of Ramatirtha Agrahara. This picture depicts the main entrance of Ramatirtha Agrahara. To Ramatirtha Agrahara. Ramatirtha is a small village of around 1650 population in Athani Taluk, Belgavi district, Karnataka. It comes under Kannad Gram Panchayat. There are 3 types of oral history about the origin of Ramatirtha Agrahara. Kadambas built Ramatirtha Agrahara because Ramatirtha comes under Belgavi district, and Belgavi and Halasi were the part of Kadamba dynasty. So this oral history or a myth is there in Ramatirtha. Second, Ballala's minister Keshiraja built it as Agrahara in 1210. Third one is Badami Chalukyas built it as Agrahara. The third statement is more appropriate to reality. There is an inscription in Umarameshwara temple Ramatirtha dated AD 1167 mentioning in the time where Ramatirtha is built was given as Dana, gift. Dana means gift, as earlier I told. To inscription is in Halegannada language. This inscription is in Halegannada language. There is one more inscription in the inner wall of the temple. It mentions the name of the person called Appaji, who gave land to build the temple for Agrahara in 1560. This inscription is in Marathi language. The left one is Halegannada language, as you can see, and the right one is Marathi language. This left one is Halegannada language. This one is Marathi language. Inscriptions of Dafles about Ramatirtha Agrahara. Ramatirtha was one of the 5 Manedevaru of Dafles of Jat Samsthana. Manedevaru means the god which a particular local used to worship. Dafles gave lot of dana to Ramatirtha Agrahara. Before independence, Maharashtra was part of Karnataka. Those inscriptions mention that Dafles of Jat had gifted land, money for the Vipras. Vipras means Brahmins. In Sanskrit, Vipras means Brahmins of Ramatirtha Agrahara. Those inscriptions can be seen below in the next slides. So it's a Marathi inscription of Dafle Sarkara. It's bit blurred because the inscriptions are not being maintained well by the local people. There is a name of Dafle Adhikari, a head who granted lands to these are all the inscriptions which I found in Ramatirtha Agrahara. So this is the main temple where in Ramatirtha Agrahara Pandit Mahajana used to teach students, and it was a national and economically strong Agrahara. Agrahara. The Brahmins who got the Agrahara as gift were called as Mahajanas. Mahajanas were the group of Brahmins, but according to Dr. Altekar, other caste people were also there in the Mahajanas Agrahara. But we have not got any sources to prove that other caste people were also there in Mahajanas. Mahajanas consisted of youth, middle-aged, old Brahmin men. Oldest, richest and very well-read member of the Mahajanas was made as the head of the Agrahara. He was called as Urodeya. Urodeya means head of the village in Kannada. In Ramatirtha Agrahara, there were around 1500 Brahmin Pandits. Kulkarnis were Gumasthas. Gumasthas means clerks of the Agrahara. They used to maintain the documents of the Agrahara. Till today in Karnataka are considered as gumastas. There is a saying or proverb also on Kulkarni's responsibilities of Mahajanas. Accepting the danas of land, sampattu, etc. by people, protecting the resources of Agrahara, people with interest, using the interest in the development of Agrahara and in religious works of Agrahara. Mahajanas of Agrahara knew both Shastra and Shastra. They knew Var also and they knew Veda, Upanishad also. With non-Brahmin people of Agrahara, Mahajanas behaved in well manner. Respecting the dignity of all caste people of Agrahara was the responsibility of Mahajanas, which most of our historians do not mention. We only mention that Brahmins tortured the lower caste people, but some facts have been neglected. Because Ramatirtha was an Agrahara, it was a tax-free village. All the Agraharas of Karnataka were tax-free villages, as I told earlier. And no army was allowed in the premises of Agraharas. Ramatirtha was a village of Jat Samsthana. Desais of Umrani used to take care of the needs of Agrahara. Adhina means not ruling a village. Adhina means taking care of the village or taking care of the needs of Brahmins who lived in those Agraharas. Meaning of Adhina is like Jata Samsthana used to give gifts, dhanyas and maintenance of Brahmanas was the duty of Jata Samsthana. If the local Mahajanas of Agrahara were not able to solve the problems of people of Agrahara, then the problem was to be taken to Desais of Umrani. Umrani is around 5 kilometers away from Tirtha. Desais used to maintain around 7 to 10 gramas and they used to solve the problems of Agraharas also. If the problems were not solved at the court of Desais of Umrani, then taken to the place of Jat. The administrative language was Kannada in Agrahara, but Brahmin used to talk and write and teach in Sanskrit also. Some people of Marathi language also in Ramtirth. Of or social system. When we study a particular civilization, we need to study its society and social system. Because when we study social system, we get to know more detailed information about that civilization. Caste system in Agraharas. Chaturvarna caste system was there in Agraharas. In Agrahara, only Brahmins used to not stay, but other caste people also used to stay. This is a myth in many researchers that in Agraharas only Brahmins used to stay. No, that is wrong. All caste people used to stay in Agrahara, but huge number of population was of Brahmins. But the Agrahara was ruled by Brahmins and the highest amount of population was covered by Brahmins. Brahmins needed other caste people to do all the other work of day-to-day life. Many people having wrong concept that in Agrahara used to stay is wrong, as I earlier said. Agrahara had joint families. Many mini families of same hereditary were used to stay. Family had more importance than individuals in Agrahara, but now it's opposite. Individuals now are more important than family, which is good change in society. As usual, father was the head of the family in every civilization, and everybody has to follow his. Mother's part was only in religious works like Homa, Yagyas, Havanas, etc. Responsibility was only to sit in these Homa, Yagya, Havanas with his husband, head of the family. Taking care of all the desires of the family members was the responsibility of mother. Family members had their separate responsibilities which they used to complete. But in these agraharas also families fight and rivalry did exist, but they had no choice to leave the family because there were very less ways to earn and live a life. Brahmins had only work to do was puja, yagya, homas, teaching students, guiding kings and other ministers. This was the only work which Brahmins used to do. Marriage was the only main motto of a girl in agraharas. Kanyadana was seen as a very sacred work for Brahmins. At the age of 12, girls used to get married, Brahmin girls particularly. After ending monarchy, girls used to get married. Sometimes girls used to get monarch after their marriage also. Age of bride was to be less than groom. This is compulsory rule. Now it's not like any aged people can get married. That is good change in society. The marriage of Brahmins was conducted for 2 days. There was a ceremony called Rukota. Now also it is being conducted for the marriage. Marriage was conducted in the night time. Marriage ceremony used to take 5 to 6 hours. Till today, these customs are being followed by Brahmins with bit of change. Food was the main part of a Brahmin marriage. If the food was good, then only the marriage was called as a successful marriage. The situation of women in these agraharas was not bad, but it was not justifiable. Woman was under the control of men. She was restricted to house. Some Brahmin women know reading and writing, but they did not get opportunity to use their intelligence and talents. Outer wall of Uma Rameshwara temple of Ramatirtha Agrahara, we get to see the sculptures of women with musical instruments and in dancing posture. We can assume that women in these agraharas used to sing dance in front of God. In Beluru, Halebeedu, also we can see this kind of sculptures because Beluru was also Agrahara, so we can assume this statement as true. I feel that these were the sculptures of Nartakis or Devadasis who used to sing and dance in front of God because Devadasis were considered as auspicious in ancient and medieval periods, and Devadasis were not prostitutes in ancient and medieval times. But in our modern world, we did not value their art and made those females who sing and dance as prostitutes. A positive culture of ancient time took the form of negative culture through history in modern times. Women used to cook for 15 to 20 people in front of the gas, and they had to from long distance by barefoot. These all things affected the health of Brahmin women in agraharas. Brahmin women did not have the knowledge about the menstrual hygiene. They used unclean clothes, and women used to get pregnant around 17 to 18 times in their lifetime, in which only 8 to 9 kids used to be alive because of lack of knowledge about health. These all things affected the health of women. Because of these reasons, women in Agrahara used to die at very early age. If a woman did not give birth to a boy baby, then she was considered as unauspicious. If first wife did not give birth to any kids, then the Brahmin women used to get barred after death of their husband, which was banned by Rajaram Mohan Rai. Economic system of Ramatirtha Agrahara. Every work or every civilization is dependent on economic conditions. On the historical study of economic condition of a particular civilization, we can understand the condition of that civilization. Agriculture was the main source of income for Tirtha and all other agraharas of Karnataka. There were two types of irrigation systems. Nadi Matrika. Nadi Matrika means rain dependent agriculture. Sapta Matrika, pound or lake dependent agriculture. Feudalism system was the main character of Agrahara's economy. Brahmins got lot of lands as danas from kings and Thaliya Sansthanikas, but Brahmins are not known for heavy work. In Vijayanagara dynasty also there is mention about this. Brahmins kept Vaishyas or Kshatriyas as their caretakers of lands. Many small-scale industries did exist in Agraharas. Talegeri, ancient papers industry, cotton and silk cloth weaving, etc. Husbandry was the very important part of economy of Agrahara because Brahmins used to love dairy products like milk, curd, ghee, butter, milk and butter. They still love them as well. So this was a short PPT of Agraharas of Karnataka. I want to conclude this presentation with a quote. We are not the makers of history. We are made by Martin Luther King. Because what I want to say is today's our Brahmin culture or traditions systems are basically made by our history or our past, which can be known by oral history or local history, which is being neglected. So I hope my presentation on Agrahara of Karnataka helped people to understand the history of Agraharas. This is just a short description about history of Agraharas of Karnataka. There is lot more things to talk on it. I hope this presentation will help young minds to do more research on Agrahara history, local and oral history, which are main essence of Indian history. I thank Indiology Foundation for giving me this opportunity to present this talk. As it is said in their slogan, they are guardian of the ancient wisdom by giving opportunity to young minds to present their ideas. Thank you so much.